I was listening to a podcast episode of a famous coach in the industry, and she was walking her client through the frustrations that she had with her podcast. She launched the podcast with the hope that the podcast was going to help her business, was going to bring more clients, but is not working that way. This is a problem I see with new businesses online. They don't have the traffic yet, and they jump into content marketing and into content creation, spending a lot of resources launching a podcast without understanding how podcasting works, how content marketing works, and how their podcast is just a piece of the puzzle for their marketing. If you're in the same boat, if you're new to podcasting, if you're new to content creation, and if you're not getting the visibility or you're not getting the leads to make the sales and to make more money with your business, this video is going to give you the clarity. Hey there, I'm Veronica, and I am the creative director and one of the instructors here at the Pod Sound School. We teach creative professionals and CEOs the skills to make podcasts and video podcasts and how to use content marketing to connect and provide value to their audiences and generate leads. And if you need help building a content marketing strategy or launching a podcast or a video podcast, you can work with us directly. Go to podsoundschool.com for more information. And before we move on, do your thing, subscribe to the channel so you can get notified every time I post a video. Let's get to the juicy stuff. I know how hard it is to invest time and money making a podcast, making your content, and watching your analytics and seeing that is not generating any results for you, that is not helping your business in any way, shape, or form, that instead of helping you is taking you away from putting more energy and more work into the business. And that is not what content marketing or what a podcast is supposed to do for you. That's why I was inspired to make this video, to get you back on track with your content marketing and get you back on track with your podcast. Your online business needs two things to grow: traffic and conversions. So let's talk about traffic first. Traffic is generated every time you post your free content on social media platforms or video platforms like YouTube. Then you add links to the content or you add links to your profiles. And then from there, users watching your content, consuming your content, they click on the link, and this link takes them to your sales pages, your opt-ins, or your website. So as long as you are consistent and you have your marketing message on point, then you'll be able to funnel people from your social media directly to your landing pages or to your website, and from there to your offers. Another way to generate traffic is through paid ads, and you've probably seen them on Facebook, on Instagram, or on other social media platforms. And when you run an ad campaign, then you will have to add a website for your landing page, or add a website for an offer or for a lead magnet, and you will funnel people that way from your ads to your offers. Another way to funnel people to your offers and another way to bring people, to bring more eyes to your offers and to your business is through SEO. But SEO is such a complicated and extensive subject that it will need a video just to talk about SEO. So we're not going to be covering SEO in this video. Once your prospects are there on your landing page or on your website, they will see the offer, or they will see the opt-in, or they will see the freebie, and they will decide whether or not they will buy it, or they will give you their email address, and that will be considered a conversion. And that takes us to conversions. So when you have your website and you see that conversions are happening, that people are getting to your website and they're either buying your services or they either downloading your lead magnet, that is a sign that your marketing message is working and that you funneling people from the different social media platforms is working. That confirms that you know your ideal client, you are speaking directly to their wants and needs, and that you're making a product or you're making something that they are interested in and they're purchasing, or they are exchanging the value of the thing for their email. The average conversion rate for e-commerce businesses is 1%, meaning that if you have 100 people visiting your landing page, only 1% of those 100 people will likely buy or do what you're asking them to do. So you know why it's important to generate traffic, to bring as many eyes and ears to your offers so you can have more conversions. The more traffic, the more conversions you will have. Hey, Veronica, thank you for all of the information about traffic and conversions, but that does not answer my question about what do I do with my podcast? What is happening? And we're moving on to that. But before we move on, I want you to drop a comment in this video and let me know if this is your situation. I want you to share your podcast with me, and I want you to share your frustrations. So now let's talk about podcasting and how your podcast fits into your marketing puzzle. If your only marketing strategy for your business is your podcast, this may be the reason why you are not generating the leads, you're not generating the traffic for your business. Podcast platforms do not have smart algorithms that will suggest your podcast to other listeners based on their consumption. And you may be wondering, well, when I open up Spotify or Apple Podcasts, when I open up those apps, then I get suggested different podcasts. Well, if you want to end up on one of the popularity lists on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you either need to have a strong marketing and launch strategy. So you will have a lot of listeners when you launch, or you're either an influential person or somebody well-known in the industry or a celebrity who can bring listeners, who can bring people and attention from other platforms to the podcast, or you're part of a network. And that's why you ended up there on the first page of Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're not a celebrity, if you launch your podcast and you didn't have a launch strategy or marketing strategy, and if you are not part of a podcast network, then chances are your podcast won't be there. And this is why it's important to calibrate your expectations when it comes to your podcast and when it comes to your content marketing. Your content marketing and your podcast, you are supposed to be making them so they can support your business, so your business can make money. Your main goal is not to become a full-time content creator or a full-time podcaster. You are a business owner using a podcast to generate leads, to generate traffic, to increase your conversion rate for your business so you can get more clients, so you can get more sales, so you can get more money in the bank. That's the whole reason why you're making your podcast. The role that your podcast has in your content marketing is for you to have a long format body of work that your prospects can go and listen to and learn more and be more informed before they purchase anything from you. And it's also meant to increase your conversion rates, because if somebody goes to your website and has questions or want to learn more about you, they're not feeling, they don't know you, they want to learn more about what you have to offer, they want to get to know your personality and see if you're a good fit, they want to be able to trust you, then you have your podcast and they'll be able to listen to your episodes and to this body of work that you have accumulated. Your podcast is also meant to give you a platform where you can interview people in your industry, people that you want to learn from, mentors. And this way you're going to build your authority, create connections, network, and you're going to open the door for more opportunities for you and for your business. So this is an important role that your podcast has in your marketing. And I'm not telling you to quit your podcast. No. What I'm telling you is that you should learn how to use it strategically to help you accomplish your marketing goals. So Veronica, now that I understand traffic, conversions, and the role of my podcast in my marketing strategy, then what do I do? Great question. When clients come to me with that predicament, I have them follow 3 simple steps. The first one is to simplify your podcast production. And how do you simplify your podcast production? Well, the first one, if you are planning, if you are recording your podcast, if you are editing your podcast and you're doing the distribution, the first thing that I will recommend you to do that will simplify this whole process for you is to outsource some of those tasks to a podcast editor or a podcast manager. This person will be able to take the files that you have recorded and take all of the stress that will go after, which is to edit the podcast, distribute the podcast, and making the assets to promote the podcast. You need help, and it's time for you to enlist that help. The other thing that would simplify your podcast production is to scale back on the content. I've seen a lot of people releasing 2 or 3 episodes a week, which it makes me wonder, like, how are you making all that much content and at the same time running a business, meeting with clients? Something is not running well, or you have a lot of help to help you do that. But if you don't have the help, you don't need to release that many episodes. 1 episode a week is enough. And even if you release an episode every other week, that's fine. Don't abandon your podcast. Make it manageable. Make it so it works for you. Make it so it's helping you instead of being another task or another burden that you have to carry because you're not making the right decisions. Remember, you're not seeking to be the next Joe Rogan with your podcast. Your podcast is meant to generate leads for your business and to help you make sales and to help you make money. The second step that I recommend to my clients is to add a social media platform or a video platform. And you may be thinking, I can't keep up with making my podcast and also running my business. And now you're telling me to add a new social media platform, more work, more content that I'm going to have to make. And that's why the first step that I want you to take is to scale back on the podcast a little bit so you can introduce a social media platform to your content marketing. And what this is going to do is that it's going to help you generate the traffic that you need to bring to your website or to bring to your podcast, because you're going to be on a platform that has a smart algorithm and that is going to suggest your content to other users, and also a platform that will allow you to reach out to your prospects and to have interactions, to ask questions, to comment on their posts, and to start gaining that authority and gaining their trust, generating that traffic that you need for your business. So let's say, for example, that the platform that you want to use along with your podcast for your content marketing is Instagram. What I like about Instagram is that you can post free content on Instagram that will help you build your authority and that will provide value to your prospects there. You can also do Instagram stories. You can go live. You can reach out to prospects through DMs. You can comment on their post. And that way you will have that one-on-one interaction that you need with your prospects, and you will start generating traffic to your offers or start generating traffic to your podcast that way. Another thing that you can do, if you outsource the editing and you outsource some of the tasks, some of the promotional tasks that you have to do with your podcast, then this person will be able to repurpose content or to make clips or quotes, any type of content from your podcast episode that they can post on Instagram. And that way people will know that you have a podcast and you will be funneling people to your podcast that way. And the third step, and the most important one, is to incorporate an outbound marketing strategy like cold outreach or warm outreach. With cold outreach, you'll be sending DMs or emails to strangers, people who don't know who you are, who don't know anything about your business, and you will pitch your services and you will pitch your offers to them. And I know that this can be intimidating and it can be scary to be reaching out to strangers, and it will, open the door for you being rejected or you getting a bunch of no's or people getting upset because they're not giving you permission to reach out. However, this was one of the first strategies that we used in our business when we started 3 or 4 years ago, and we didn't have the traffic that we have today. We had to start reaching out to people through DMs and pitching them our services and see if they were interested in launching a podcast. And you'll be surprised of how many people will be interested in book a call with you and learn more about your business, learn more about your services. And you can do this too with warm outreach. With warm outreach, the difference is that you'll be reaching out to your followers, you'll be reaching out to the people in your network, to coworkers or people in your past, people that you have some connection and that they know you. So this is considered warm outreach. Also, you'll be surprised of how many people will be interested and will be curious to learn more about your business and more about your offers. And this is an important step because it teaches you to take action, to be proactive. It gives you control over generating your leads. It gives you control over learning who is your ideal client and learning what they need, because you're going to have that one-on-one interaction. And the sooner you get used to being rejected, and the sooner you get used to getting the no's, and after 10 or 20 no's to get a yes, the sooner you will achieve more success in your business, because that's what entrepreneurship is all about. So having that combination, having your podcast, being on a platform, using your podcast as a networking tool, using your podcast to have a bingeable body of work that your prospects can consume and make decisions, make buy-in decisions, and being on a platform that is going to generate that traffic for your business. And also you being proactive and seeking new clients and scheduling meetings and meeting with people face to face. That is the best strategy that you will have for your business, that will generate leads, that will help you generate more sales, and that will bring more money to your bank account, which is ultimately what we all want. And if you're interested in learning more about content marketing, I have this video right here. In this video, I walk you through the exact content marketing strategy that we use here at the Pod Sound School to generate more leads, to make more sales, to enroll more clients. And it's been working for us. We've been implementing this content strategy for longer than a year, and it's been success. So go watch it.